Alright, number 9, we're going to evaluate square root of negative 98x, and we want to assume that x is greater than 0. So we have square root negative 98x. Alright, so same process, it's just the x is a variable that we have there. Negative comes out as an I, square root of 98x, kind of right at the top of the screen. Bring it down a little bit. Okay, we're going to break down 98, 2, and 49. And then the x is just going to stay under there because I don't have any powers to the x. I can't break that down. And then 49 is 7 times 7. Okay, so I have a pair of 7s that can come out. The 2 stays and the x stays. You gotta not forget about that x. So at the end of the day, we get 7i square root of 2x. Alright, now here we have one of those powers of I to the 68. So let's talk about that. So let's recall, I guess from previous we talked about that. We have 4 iterations of I. We have I squared, I to the 3rd, and we have I to the 4th. And they just keep going through these cycles. I squared is equal to negative 1. I cubed is equal to negative I, and I to the 4th is equal to positive 1. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you can just continue to go. Now, you don't always want to count. I mean, you can count to 68 pretty easily, but there's another method that I use to solve these, and it's division. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take that power of I, which is 68, and I'm going to divide it by 4. Now, why am I dividing it by 4? Because every 4th I is equal to 1. And what we're doing is multiplying. So understand this. I to the 4th times I to the 4th. Now, if you recall properties of exponents, this means whenever you have the same base, you multiply, and you're multiplying, you add those exponents. So this is the same thing as I to the 8th. Okay? Now, the whole reason I'm showing you this is I to the 4th is 1. I to the 4th is 1. 1 times 1. This is equal to 1. So even I to the 8th is equal to 1. So the reason why I'm dividing it by 4, I'm finding out how many groups of 4 I have, and I'll divide those all out. They will just be equal to 1 times 1, however many times. Whatever your remainder is, that's going to be the iteration of I that we're left over with. Okay. So 4 will go into 6 one time. Subtract that off, and we get 2, bring down our 8. And then 4 will go into 28 7 times. So that'll be 28, 4 times 7 is 28, subtract that off, we get 0. Okay, so my remainder is 0, which means that this is just equal to 1. So these are basically telling you your remainders. If you have a 1, a 2, 3, when you get to the 4th, that's a 0. It's kind of like saying I to the 0 power, which is just equal to 1. Whatever your remainder is, that's the power of I you're dealing with. But 4 goes into 68 17 times evenly. That 17 is not the focus. The remainder is the focus. We have 0, so you'll be looking at I to the 0 power. Anything to the 0 power is 1, or basically this. So I to the 68 power is just equal to 1. Hopefully we'll set another one of those.